Do it live, pal.
By the way, you know what the worst part of the last week and a half has been?
Bowl games.
That I was so close to being able to troll you when the Browns were about to beat the Raiders. That's the pain.
Is it just me, or was that maybe the worst game in the history of football?
I know. Oh, but no, it didn't matter.
It was like really.
Yeah.
It set football back, I think, 30 years. I have to say. That was one of those games when whoever wins can't really brag because both teams were so shitty. And the Raiders, like the Browns were down to the water boy actually playing. And
I want you to know that the records of this season are just as valid as any other season.
Of course, and they should be.
Okay, so don't give me that thing. Don't.
It's so weird. Our coach got sent home with COVID like 8 or 9 weeks ago, and he hasn't come back. Oh, I guess it wasn't COVID. It's another viral disease caused racism.
Okay.
I am ready, sir.
I'm wearing my Cleveland Indians 100-year thing today.
Get your Cleveland Guardians gear ready, you bitch.
Even though I shouldn't, because it's long sleeve, and I believe the temperature is 97.
That's true.
Something like that. It is the Brad and Britt cast. We're glad to be back with you here after a few really not deserved days off. You see how it's important to just not lapse into what they had some well-deserved time. No, he didn't deserve it. It was in his contract. He had it was right.
It was undeserved. It was completely undeserved.
Did not. And by the way, speaking of that, I memed something earlier today because I thought it deserved a meme, which is I'm just making a plea. I know this will go nowhere, but I just believe that cable news should sign off.
What's your deal?
About 2 days before Christmas, they can come back after New Year's because they're faking it. Okay, all they do is put the B team in when they feel like it, or there are reruns, or we get the Tom Hanks. This was
the 80s,
1940s, right? Or
how does Hanks do that? And then like when he does the 80s thing, it's like, oh, it's me. These are movies that I made. Look at that.
That happens to no, but just stop and stop with the year in this.
Oh, yeah. No, there's
review of the year. Just stop it. We're done. Do you understand? We lived through this shit. This year went by either in 1 second or it took 100 years to get. But no one needs the reminder. We know how the year started. We know what happened on. Stop with the year in review. Don't do it. Just don't do it. And same in sports. Same with ESPN. Stop it.
No. I wouldn't know what happened. I wouldn't know what happened in the year if I didn't see those recaps. I wouldn't know what happened.
And no doubt about it.
I'm watching the CBS Sunday morning show with my mom, and they're doing, these are the people that died.
Yeah. Now, see, that's an exception, but that's a good one. And I'll tell you why. Because when they do such a good job, that there will always be several people that you didn't know were dead.
It's true. But then I also think that Jane Pauley was just watching it to find out if she died. Like, I don't know. Am I? Oh, I made it. Oh, wow. Woo. Another year. Look at me.
Don't worry. If she leaves that show, she'll get another job that she doesn't deserve to have for absolutely no reason. Don't worry about it.
She's fantastic. Okay. How dare you? She's a national treasure.
Yeah, she really does bring something unique to that show. Woo, I'm glad I'm over 65 because it's directed right at me. Woo, thank you.
She's married to the guy that created Garfield. Why don't you just shut the fuck up?
Exactly. Okay? No, I thought she was married to the Dilbert guy.
Dilbert.
Snuffy Smith.
We were just discussing this in the pre-show. There's a fun story that's going around about Dr. Oz and his wife. Is this reporter, is her name pronounced Olivia Nuzzi? I've never know.
No, it's Nuzzy. She's great. She's broken some stories over the years. She's really good, and this is so perfect because it's almost like Dr. Oz needed what's the psychologist Rick from the Progressive commercial to be sitting in the car with the two of them, because Progressive Rick would remind them, when you're done with a phone call, you have to push the button that indicates visually that the call is over, it is done, or else the person can continue to hear what you are saying. If and it can get ugly. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
She calls this Olivia Nuzzi calls up, but she's trying to do a profile. She gets Lisa Oz's, that's Dr. Oz's wife, and she goes, "Hello," and Dr. Oz's wife very smoothly hangs up the phone just immediately. And Olivia Nuzzi goes, "Well, maybe that was an accident." She calls back, and Dr. Oz's wife goes, "How did you get this number?" And
by the way, goes, that's always the most important thing when someone calls from the media and wants to talk to you. The most important thing is, I thought I had a secret burner number that I got from an Al Qaeda guy who was about to die.
When I was banging the pool boy back in 2016, I got this number. Then how do you find it? I don't understand how you got it, you wily reporter. So she goes, "Well, it's in public records. There's I don't know, property treatment, and there's your number." So I called it. And she goes, "Well, I should have fixed that by." And then she doesn't really hang up. And then she and Dr. Oz, I'm talking about Lisa Oz and Dr. Oz, pronouns pal, they're talking and they have a conversation about this fucking reporter girl. She's saying shit and "Oh shit. Well, I was going to talk about, and that bitch down at campaign headquarters, she was saying shit she shouldn't have. No, she didn't. No, she did. She said I was going to be the leader of the Republican Party. Well, you said," and they just kind of argue for a few minutes, and eventually the phone hangs up. And then I think Lisa Oz goes, "Oh shit, she must have heard the last 3 minutes of our conversation with us fighting in the car." She calls back Olivia Nuzzi and goes, "Hello," and Olivia Nuzzi goes, "Hi," click, and that's the end of the story. So the professional organization of the Dr. Mehmet Oz campaign is off to a running start as he runs for senator from the great state of Pennsylvania, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
This is just a technical question, but I wonder why Oz's wife called back that number. Do you think it's because she looked at her phone, and of course, every phone call you make on a mobile gives you the amount of time the last call happened. So she may have thought that she was only on the phone for 20 seconds and hung up. Wait a minute, that was a 7-minute call. Zoink! I mean, it could have been something like that. So that's just a technical question. But when you read the transcript of Oz's mouth, oh my God, it's like he's in the fucking Turkish-Armenian war.
It is.
Undersea. My God. You see what I did there? His family is from Turkey. A lot of people.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah.
Excellent work on that. I think it was one of those things where the phone connects to the Bluetooth in the car, and then they don't realize it, and then of course,
I know,
and then everything, and then the reporter just shuts up, which is the best thing ever. Instead of going, "Hello," she didn't do anything like that. She just muted herself, and of course, they just go on talking about nonsense.
See, and we can go 12 different sidetrack directions that don't add anything, but of course that means we're going to do it. I have a new car, and it's got every possible technical piece of wizardry there is with connecting, Apple Play and Bluetooth, and I've made a couple of calls. I'm getting into it slowly, but I can see if you are, again, of a certain age and you're not that slick on that, where you would think you hung up and you didn't hang up. Of course, the idea is to not be a complete asshole because people can't hear you. It's probably not a bad idea.
As a policy, that's generally how you do it. Not be an asshole. I'd say that's a pretty good call.
And again, the most important thing about this is that since we were last together, and I hope that this works the way we wanted to for once, because everyone doesn't have the last name Trump. Everything that you do that sucks in your life should not be a qualification should not be a boost to supporters out there. If you suck, you suck. Dr. Oz sucks. And the New York Times did another long story about him. And, he's just the person who's running in the Democratic primary for Senate in Pennsylvania. He's running in the Republican. In the Democratic primary, one of a couple of people who is also a doctor, who, of course, is never called Dr. blah, 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 because they're not a celebrity. They've only actually been, in elected office in Philadelphia for years, I think, head of the county commissioners. This woman never is addressed as doctor, but she's flat out already said, with all the shit that he has done, this guy is the definition of a quack. He's a quack.
Yeah.
Let's call him. And you know what? This is just like, there's a different version of Dr. Ben Carson, right? Remember when you would see Dr. Ben Carson, and you can still hear him. He's still out there. He's still in the hot rotation on Fox News, believe me, for everything. Okay. He's an expert in infectious diseases, in case you didn't know. But remember what the backup was. He was a brilliant surgeon, pediatric surgeon. He was the first person to separate Siamese twins or something, 40 years ago. He's
operated on babies all the time. He did all the stuff.
Therefore, he deserves some modicum of respect for everything else that he's saying about any other subject. That turned out not to be true. Fortunately, Ben Carson didn't get elected president. Okay.
Yeah.
In the case of Dr. Oz, he, of course, does not deserve to get the nomination nor to be elected senator in Pennsylvania. But
he's handing out all these diet pills and all these
he's a quack.
vitamins.
It's just crap on his show.
I feel like there was a point in time, like early in his career, when he was doing helpful stuff and he wasn't doing the bullshit. Then at one point in time, somebody said, "Well, you can make so much money just handing out this bullshit," and that's when he decided to go ahead and go nuts.
There's no doubt about it. And when we talked to him.
Yeah.
What, 12 years ago, 15 years ago? How long? It was a long time ago. Was there some controversy over like apple juice or something? And he was talking about how arsenic in apple juice. Remember that?
Yeah. And and that's where it was kind of evident. Oh, this guy's fucked up. This guy's he's full of shit, because he started going hard, and people would point out, well, you're not right about this, and then he would just double down on stuff, and it was pretty evident at that point that we were on a slippery slope to hell. And now that he's become a full-on political animal,
you're saying he lied, it was fact checked, pointed out, and he doubled down. Maybe he is qualified to be a Republican nominee for Senate.
To be honest,
right. But so the backup defense of Dr. Carson was he was a great pediatric surgeon. It's the same thing with Dr. Oz. Well, look, he was a great surgeon, a great heart surgeon for all these years, and have been very, very successful. Fine. That's great. That's like saying, O.J. Simpson was a hell of a running back. God damn it. That guy was great. Yeah. But now he is
what a problem. Yeah.
And so, no, your previous expertise in another area very often, if not always, is not a qualification for elective office in this country. And how many more times are we going to have to learn that? How many more times?
I don't think we're ever going to learn it. That's the problem. I don't want to cover the stuff that we missed when we were, because we could just go back, over the last 10 days or whatever. But it's pretty clear. I just saw the latest thing here. This is that asshole Ron Johnson, the senator from Wisconsin, citing COVID cases among the vaccinated and asking, what's the point? Well, now, of course, he is flying in the face of your favorite president, Donald John Trump Sr. The admission, the weekend before last, of Donald Trump at that Bill O'Reilly show in front of the audience in Dallas, that both men had been boosted, has taken the Republican Party and most Republicans and spun them out of control. They can't figure out what to do now that their hero is figured out. He's not getting credit for the vaccine. He needs to get credit for the vaccine. And damn it, you people stop booing me when I say that I got the vaccine and I got the boost, because you're fucking me up. Stop doing that.
And he said you should take the vaccine. So
That's right.
this, you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of, and I pick the cartoon from your childhood, where how did they show a person angry that didn't know what to do? Their whole head would usually turn red, whoever it was, whether Porky Pig, and steam would come out. And I feel like, that's what Trump has managed to do, of course, with the whole world and with people like us, for 5 years. But now he's done it with his own people. And remember, let's put aside any real credit to Donald Trump. Please, liberals, no, Donald Trump, don't play even though he's late to saying it, we're glad he said it. Forget it.
Wasn't that the New York Times? Didn't the New York Times do that? Like, better late than never.
Right, but this is the marriage analogy to the billionth power, which is when you fuck up, if you have to be told to apologize, or the amount of time that it takes you to apologize, divided by the number of times you were forced to apologize, plus the sincerity of that apology, that's in direct and inverse proportion to how full of shit you really are and how calculating you are trying to get out from underneath of what you originally did. And Trump can never escape what he originally did. But what I think is, I believe, like everything that Trump does, it's always about him. And it's always, at any given moment, what can I do? What can I say that will supposedly benefit me more? And he, as a big a prick as he is, he can read simple numbers. And the simple numbers are now that the heavy majority of American voters and a majority of even Republicans are vaccinated. And you cannot run for office as the anti-vaccination guy. You can't do it, no matter what he said. And remember, he does have a full gaslight brigade behind him. And I would never be surprised if, even by today or starting tomorrow, they start to lie on Fox and they start to say how they have been the number one network in favor of vaccination for everyone. And
your pro-vaccination headquarters, Fox.
Yes,
News.
Absolutely.
Brad, I think
Britt,
that's why
these are people that, remember, nothing happened on January 6th. They've been told that.
I think that's why the Christmas tree was burned, is because it was some anti-vax person pissed off at Fox News for pushing the vaccine. I believe that should be the narrative at Fox News. It was some crazy liberal wacko who hated them pushing the vaccine so much.
Right, because we crossed the line, a year ago even, where it was said, well, if Donald Trump would just say blank, it would really help. Okay. So he never said it, and it wouldn't have mattered because he had already put too much poison in the water anyway. And now that we have, proof over and over again of people who are saying, under no circumstances, no way, no how will I ever get vaccinated, no matter what. People laying in their hospital beds on ventilators saying, I will never get vaccinated as they die. People vowing that no matter what, nothing, no act of God can get me to get vaccinated because I know it's blank. It's all the same reasons. And so to them, they're able to just pigeonhole Donald Trump as another politician, another guy. Oh, we thought, or how about this? I got another one that could come back up. Remember at the beginning of the campaign in 2016, or as Trump, became more successful in winning delegates and getting the nomination, that there was always in the background the fact that Donald Trump was a Democrat, basically, for 65 years, and that he gave money to Hillary Clinton, and he was this, and he was a liberal on this, he was a liberal on abortion, he was a liberal on that. And Trump managed to completely squash that and turn into the phony right-wing conservative fraud that he is.
Barry Goldwater. He fucking Barry Goldwater or some shit.
Oh, way to the right of Goldwater. Way to the
way to the right.
So Right. So that could or would be another arrow to pull out of your back pocket if you're an anti-vaxxer, never going to take it, don't believe in it. I know that Bill Gates controls, my bowel movements if I take the vaccine, all the kind of things that are out there. They can go to that as the all-time Hail Mary, which is, we knew he was one of them all the way. We knew he was one of them, right? So this is, and you've described this before, for the end of the worlders, who no matter what happens, and then the world doesn't end, they move the line further out. The world is going to end on January 15th, and then it doesn't end. And what do they say? Well, we meant March 23rd, right? And this is the same thing with excusing Trump and or having a reason to finally turn on him if that happens. And I don't think it's going to happen. And there'll be people that say, I didn't even hear him say that. I don't even know what you're talking about. Right. So,
but it's all rooted in the idea that he's not getting credit for it. He should be the guy. They should, when they talk about the COVID, it should be me, and you people booing it is fucking it up. And now, of course, the thing that they hang on to now, this is the great statistic, is that more people have died of COVID under Joe Biden than did with Donald Trump. So shut up. Right. That's the great statistic that they're going to roll out on you forever and ever, because that's the only thing that means anything.
The language, the non-logic of, here's Donald Trump, who supposedly should get more credit for the development of the vaccine that I refuse to take because I don't believe in it. But I believe that Trump is my God and Savior. But on this one issue, I'll allow him to get credit for the vaccine that I don't want, which doesn't make any sense, because he should be blamed for the vaccine, shouldn't he? Yeah. If you're an anti-vaccine, he should actually be blamed for it.
That's why their heads are spinning. They can't figure out what to do with this thing. And as you say, Fox doesn't know how to play it. This is from the fantastic Candace Owens, who is just the best pundit of all time. She says, don't worry, guys. Trump's just an old man. He doesn't know what we know. He's not able to access the internet the way we are. And that's why he doesn't know the truth like we do. That's the explanation from right-wing folk hero Candace Owens. It's okay, guys. If he can be able to access the internet, and he wasn't such an old fucker, he'd be able to know exactly what we know, and he'd be smart like we do. That's literally what they're trying to tout on this guy. Their heads are spinning. They can't figure out what to do. And when Ron Johnson says bullshit like this, he's flying right into the teeth of the president he supposedly sucked the ass of for nigh on 5 years now.
At this point, and again, we haven't done this Brad and Britt cast for about 10 days or so.
Yeah, that's right.
And now have we prepared anything? Have I asked you anything about whatever I'm about to ask you?
Negative.
How many more people right now, even if it's not you, how many more people do you know who have tested positive in the last 10 days than you knew 10 days ago?
I can't think of any, honestly. People that I know personally and stuff. Yeah.
You are a remarkable exception.
I am.
Because I know a few people. In fact, our phone rang last night.
Uh-oh.
And our daughter, Stephanie, she tested positive yesterday. She lives in Chicago and had been in Denver for a wedding. I mean, she was obviously around a lot of people and got delayed a full day flying back, because I know you don't watch mainstream media. There were a lot of flight cancellations over the weekend.
I haven't heard a thing about that. How did that happen?
Right. So
thanks a lot, Brandon. Thank you, Brandon.
She got delayed by a day there, and so she tested positive. But Senator Johnson, as a triple vaccine victim, she said she felt pretty good. She felt okay, a few sniffles and the rest, and she'll self quarantine herself for the appropriate number of days. And
it's 5 days if you're asymptomatic now. That's what the CDC is saying.
Surely will get on with her life. And the disingenuousness of people saying that the proof that the whole concept of coronavirus vaccines is undercut by citing some broad number, like the number of people who died this year is greater than last year, as if the that all things are equal. Okay,
Right.
As if there was no Delta virus, the Delta version the first year, and there's just no point in even discussing it. And it doesn't matter that 90+% of people who die, that's close to 100%, are people who are totally unvaccinated. It was true from the beginning of the vaccination up until right now. It still generally works at keeping you less sick and more likely to be less have a lesser tendency to have to get hospitalized. And you don't have to accept that. You can be an idiot, or you can be a complete phony like Ron Johnson, who surely is triple vaccinated and is just lying. Okay. Because remember, when was the last time we saw a news article that did another survey on who's vaccinated in Congress? Haven't seen one of those for a while. But
it's been a while.
Remember,
it's been a while.
There was a shocking number of Republicans who said they were not vaccinated. And most of us believe that they were lying, okay, because they felt they had to for political purposes, because they have a base of idiots. Which, by the way, that was the first group I played bass for them. The Base of Idiots. That was.
I love those guys, man. They had some good shit. Are we going to talk about the Let's Go Brandon guy?
You know what? We will, but there's some other good shit, because we can.
There can't be anything more important than the Let's Go Brandon guy. That's the most important story in America.
So you're going to force this when I'm trying to.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
I want to talk about it. We can do it tomorrow, because here's the good thing about it, and now here we are. Remember, the first minute that happened, what was the first thing the guy said after he said,
just kidding. Just kidding. I was having fun.
Britt, it's worse than that. It's worse than that. He said, "I'm not a Trumper. I'm not a Trumper at all." So he was a fucking liar. Okay, a complete liar.
Well, there's the headline. That's from Oregon Live. I'm showing it right now if you're watching us. And then, as time goes on, what do you know? He goes on the Steve Bannon broadcast, whatever the fuck it is, and goes, I hate Joe Biden. He sucks my balls, and the election was 100% stolen. He's a big fat phony, that dude is, and he was able to win one for his team. Good for that guy.
Yeah. Oh, good luck to him. All right, I have a story. It's under the headline, "The Rule of Threes." All right, Rule of Threes. Ready? 11 names put forth by the Gallup organization, federal officials. How many registered positive ratings from the majority of people who responded to the survey? Only 3 people were above 50%. In first place, Chief Justice Roberts. Second place, Chief of the Fed, Jerome Powell.
Jeez.
And in third place at 52%, Chief Medical Guy and aide to President Trump, Anthony Fauci. So it's Powell, Roberts, and Fauci are the only ones who got positive ratings. Roberts was the only one that got it from independents, Republicans, and Democrats. At the bottom of the pack, Mitch McConnell, approval rate of 34%. Joe Biden at 43% on that. Okay, so I just thought that was that's kind of a good. It's a broad cross section kind of poll, and the fact that in this poll Biden gets 43%, that sounds about right. That's about where he is normally. So comparing to other people. All right. What? Oh, I got one. I call this one the Green Bay Sweep. You heard this one?
The Green Bay Sweep.
Right. Now, that's not to be confused with the famous Green Bay Sweep run by Paul Hornung and Jim Taylor behind the legendary offensive line of, that's right, I know these by heart, Jim Ringo at center, Forrest Gregg, Fuzzy Thurston, Jerry Kramer, and Bob Skoronski. That's your 5 in front of the 1965 Green Bay Packers.
And Jerry Kramer's Distant Replay is still a fantastic book for anyone to read if you want to check that out.
And so was Instant Replay, which came before it.
Yeah, those were both very good books.
They're both good. All right. So Peter Navarro, boy, this guy has been trouble from the first moment you heard his name.
You better believe it.
Apparently, and this is revealed by our good friends at the Daily Beast, Navarro's book says that Steve Bannon was his buddy, and they had a Hail Mary attempt to stop the election certification. Navarro confessed that he coordinated with Republican members of Congress. Boy, Jim Jordan is going to be hanging high from the rafters, isn't he? They're going to. This guy is dead meat. I can.
You really think so? See, you're trying to get my hopes up. You really think that this he's done? He's finished. He's assuming room temperature. That's what you're telling me about this guy.
I think he at some point. The claim would explain the apology text message that Mark Meadows turned over to the committee that said, this is the quote, "I'm sorry, we tried." They even called the mission the Green Bay Sweep.
Oh, my God.
And I'm not quite sure. Maybe Navarro's from Wisconsin or something like that.
But Vince Lombardi should jump up out of his grave and beat the shit out of those guys.
Yeah.
I mean, that's ridiculous, the Green Bay Sweep. F you.
By the way, were you made as uncomfortable as I was when Aaron Andrews hugged Aaron Rodgers after the game the other day?
Look,
or what?
What the fuck was that? Okay, it's COVID and it's all that too. And the other thing is that she wants to be seen. Women have fought all of this bullshit about sexism on the sidelines all the time. And it's, Susie Colbert with drunk Joe Namath going, "I want to kiss you," and it's all this shit. Here she is all of a sudden, and she just hugs the guy like they're fucking like they've been on a date. "Oh my God, Aaron, I love you so much." Like, what the fuck is that? What are you doing? There's like no male sideline reporter be, "Oh, Aaron, you're so you got to be joking." The whole thing was fucked up, and it was ridiculous, man.
Well, maybe she was just a big fan of his stint on Jeopardy.
Yeah, that's what it was.
By the way, I haven't watched much Jeopardy through this whole thing last year, but we watched one the other day. And on Saturday nights they run one from a few months back. They're not usually new shows, and they ran one with Ken Jennings, and I thought, "Fuck, this guy's good."
Yeah.
He was great. Well, I can't. I know why he automatically didn't get it. A lot of reasons, but he was really good. He was very good, and he was really good at not saying the same thing after every answer. He really mixed it up. He was good. Anyway, did I digress enough for you on that?
A tad, just the slightest amount on that one.
We do. You know what? We should call our podcast "Attention Deficit Disorder." We can't. We can't stay in one lane. We can't stay in one.
A phrase that we say a lot is, "Oh, by the way," and then we'll go off on that, whatever tangent that is. But yeah, we're 9 days away now from the first anniversary of the January 6th insurrection. Now, there's going to be a massive, this is one of those where you can't pick a side. If you are NBC, ABC, CBS, if you're CNN, if you're like a real news outlet, you can't do fair and balanced on this thing. And some people say this is what happened on January the 6th of 2021. And some people say, because I'm telling you, to some people, it is going to be Ashley Babbitt Remembrance Day. That's what it's going to be. It was the day that this martyr for our cause was murdered by the cops. That's what's going to happen tonight. I personally believe that January the 6th should be a day that is memorialized and remembered right up there with 9/11. When our Capitol was attacked for the first time in 200 plus years by people who wanted to overthrow our government. And it should always be treated as that. But it has been minimized in the past 356 days or 359 or whatever it is by people. And they're going to try to skate past this thing on January the 6th and not give it the weight that it deserves. And we came this close to losing it all on January the 6th. What do you think?
Well, I'm going to come at it from an A plus B plus C kind of approach here, which is that I predict, and you know how great we are with predictions.
Right.
I predict that on January 4th or 5th, let's see. Yeah, okay, because it's the middle of the week. January 4th is a Tuesday, Wednesday's the 5th, so it's the middle of the week. So business is being done.
Mm-hmm.
I predict on one of those 2 days is the day that they name Donald Trump at the committee that is investigating as someone who needs to appear. Okay. Okay. What do you think? What would you, and of course, the response will be, you're doing that on purpose to take the sacred meaning out of a day. What do you mean? What's the problem? I thought it was nothing. Oh, wait, see, this will be just like with Trump saying, get vaccinated. They won't know what to do. Okay. I'm just looking at it that's just kind of a sidelight kind of corollary thing. But no, you're not going to split the screen and give equal prominence to quote one side or the other, because the big commemoration ceremony is going to be at the House of Representatives by Nancy Pelosi and the other people. Every one of these is a litmus test and a chance for video to be made that can be used in campaign commercials.
Right.
In that, if you're a Republican member of Congress in a House, what do you do on January 6th? Do you go to that ceremony? Because unless I'm wrong, there was no discriminating in those several hours in terms of who was in fear for their life, who could have gotten killed. In fact, check me if see if I remember correctly, because this was a long time ago. Wasn't Mike Pence, the vice president, threatened with his life there? I can't remember. Help me, because it was a long time ago, and I've moved on with my life, Britt. I can't remember. What happened?
There was a chant that said "Hang Mike Pence," but they might have been saying "Let's go Brandon." It could have been "Let's go Brandon." I'm not sure. Right. It was one of those two. But that's been revisionist history over the past 3. Is that also people like AOC and Nancy Pelosi were complete pussies, but the conservatives were fine and they just stood up and they didn't think it was a big deal. That's the revisionist history that's happened over the past year. There's a few Republican lawmakers who have stood up and said, that was fucked up and I thought I was going to die. And there are many of them that are like, everything was fine. We had everything under control. I just hung out and ate popcorn in my office. We watched a couple of reruns of like the Andy Griffith show. It was fine. The revisionist history that they've done and the brainwashing has been amazing over the past 365 days.
And we know there is an information bubble that is impenetrable. We understand that there are people who want to live in that bubble and don't want to acknowledge
exactly,
or apparently just they've not seen 10 seconds of any of the medieval pitched battle violence video that occurred. They haven't seen that officer's head squished against the glass.
And he's screaming for his life.
Screaming for his life. Okay. They've not seen that, Britt. Just think about that. They've not seen that. Okay.
Well, not only that, but also it was so fucked up. We only found out a couple of weeks ago that those Fox News personalities who love Donald Trump were like, please get him to say something to stop this. They were appealing to Mark Meadows. Please, God, could he just put something out there to get these people to stop?
But you know what the final verdict on that appears to be from their point of view is that we're not getting credit for saying the right thing. Why won't you give us credit for saying the right thing at that time?
Well, and it's been such a violation of their privacy too, from people who hate them. It's really been.
Well, you shouldn't have found out that we said it, but why can't we have credit for what we said?
How did you get this number? How did you get this number?
That's always the problem.
And this is the latest from the January 6th committee. There are some documents that are going to be shielded and withheld at the behest, by the way, of the Biden White House, saying that maybe national security and executive privilege would be compromised if they dumped everything. President Biden has repeatedly rejected former President Donald Trump's blanket efforts to cite executive privilege to block the release of the documents surrounding the day. But Biden's White House is still working with the committee to shield some documents from being turned over. So some documents are not going to go forth and some will. But I'm telling you that I'm very interested to see in the non-Fox media, and I'm interested to see what Fox does next week too with this January the 6th thing, as far as covering it, because Fox, when they get boxed into a corner, they'll do that. Okay, during the daytime we'll cover it, but after 7 o'clock it never happened. The old Chinese wall thing that they try to do with all this other shit, right?
Yeah, and plus whatever coverage is during the day is 10% of what everybody else is seeing, or they'll do it once so that they can have a record of them actually doing it, so they can say that, oh, we didn't ignore it, we covered it. And, it'll be at 6:12 in the morning. There'll be a quick mention. No, you're right about that.
It's easy to dismiss it because they'll say it's a Nancy Pelosi event. She'll try to organize it and do it, and then she'll speak, and they'll go, I'll give you an example of how fucked up Fair and Balanced is and how people feel. This was a story that you saw very well. There's Dr. Fauci saying both Fox News and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. have they've accelerated death threats against him. So you're left with, well, the people over here are doing it and the people over here are doing it, right? That's going to be a lot of people's takeaway. It's coming from the left and it's also coming from the right. So it's pretty balanced. That's what you would be left with if you just read the headline of that story.
Right. Yeah, there's nowhere to go with that. It's just, that's almost too stupid to talk about.
They do shit like that all the time, though. That stuff, and it's like 99% of the shit that's the reason he's had to beef up his security because of death threats is mostly Donald Trump fans and Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who's been off his rocker for more than 20 years about various bullshit, says some stuff, and now, oh my God, yep, there's the attacks from the left. Yep, it's not just us. Fauci also got these wackos from the left. No, you got one guy.
Robert, RFK Jr. He is one of the leading lights in liberalism in this country. It has been.
Sure. Well, I've got the poster. It's in my bedroom. It's over my.
That was his father.
Oh shit! What do you know? Oh, okay, I got you. I didn't even.
Right. Different RFK, different one here. And again, we're not making fun of domestic violence, but the headline on this one was, "Wouldn't you like to beat the shit out of Alex Jones too?"
Yeah, a little problem. That was, first of all, anybody that was ever married to Alex Jones, wouldn't they just need years and years and years of therapy and just a team of psychiatrists and psychologists trying to work on them to try to get rid of that?
The report is that Erica Wolf Jones, his wife, struck Alex over 20 times, caused him to fear for his life. The police report states that Jones said his wife struck him at least once with a bottle of shampoo. And he says that caused his eyes to burn. Oh, we're so sorry if your eyes burn.
She should have used Johnson's & Johnson's. That's the no tear shampoo. That's right. That's what you use right there.
Additionally, Alex Jones said his wife attempted to strike him with a large stone ball as he tried to flee her. What was he trying out for the shot put in the Olympics? What the hell? Oh, large stone ball. What was he trying?
God damn it! I got to get the stone balls out of here before somebody hits me with one of these damn things. That's going to be the worst thing ever.
She was arrested and charged, even though denying it. She was arrested and charged with assault, and for resisting arrest.
Sure.
Second police affidavit claim that Erica was adamant about not going to jail, and at one point broke free of handcuffs and began swinging her fists and kicking the cops who called for backup while striking at least once. The fact that she was a white woman allowed her to live another minute. Had she been black, she would have been gunned down on the spot. I added that just for
for effect and truth. Sure.
Yeah. Just for excitement there.
So so what you're saying is that Alex Jones' next wife needs to be white, right? Just in case she hits him, she'll make it through the aftermath. Is that what you're telling me?
She was, because the cops didn't kill her.
Yeah.
when she resisted arrest. That's the point.
But when you're looking for a wife the next time around, you're like,
I got to make sure I get a white woman. I'm not sure. Just in case the cops come, I'd like for her to live through this one. Maybe hit me with another rock. Plus, they're making the frogs gay.
All right. Anything else on today's docket? Have we?
I think I've spewed enough. That's a good way for us to get back in the game on a Tuesday.
Yeah. We managed to avoid sports.
Oh,
we did manage to avoid
very, very little. Just the Aaron Andrews and the Aaron Andrews and Aaron Rodgers hug for no reason at all.
Yeah, at some point we're going to have to address the LeBron James stupidity.
Man, Kareem is just whipping that. Fucking Kareem is just showing what a national treasure that man is.
It's getting bad.
Kareem is kicking that guy's ass.
And LeBron is managing to diminish his image and his value late in his career here.
I don't know what happened. I really don't know what happened.
Just being nuts. Didn't what I think? Should have never left Cleveland, because when you're in Cleveland, you're grounded. You're in real America. Okay, real Americans live in Cleveland.
There were just so many business. There were so many business opportunities open to him in LA. There was just, he wasn't making any money or anything in Cleveland. So.
Right. Because you can't make a car commercial when you live in Cleveland. You can only make it if you live in Los Angeles. You can't do it. You can't make a sports drink commercial unless you live in LA. I don't know how Steph Curry does it, being in a small market like San Francisco. I don't know how he does it.
It's the worst, man. He can't make any money. That guy's broke.
I know. He's working for half wages. All right, we'll see you tomorrow.